Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy, Active, Get Back Rod 3 times, Rysky, Blurry 2K, whatever you want to call me, you know what I'm saying? Only those names apply though. But anyways, man, now, today I got something pretty weird on my channel, but it will start to be more of a thing that I do more often. A series of videos I like to call the analysts and the reviews, and also dirty reviews. Dirty reviews is also gonna be a thing on my channel. It depends on the topic and whether I really like the media, whatever it is that I happen to consume or play or watch or whatever it may be at that point in time. It depends on what list it'll go on. But let's get right ahead onto the video. Now for this video I wanted to do an in-depth review slash analysis of Yakuza 0, or Ryuga Kotoku 0 as is known in Japan. Basically what I want to do when I start this video is I want to talk about some key things. I want to go over the story, I want to go over the gameplay, I'm going to go over the characters in the story, I want to go over the little modes like the mini game modes. I may even talk about 100% completion too, but I will not be actually like doing that. This is mainly, the video itself is mainly just going to be me, mainly like when a point comes up I might talk about it, but this video is really going to just be me rambling. Firstly, I'm going to be starting about my experiences that I had with the game, how I got into the series, and other people's opinions on the game. You know, they're I like to say they're controversy opinions. A lot of people's claim is the Yakuza series, Yakuza 0 is the best in the series. You know, it being a series that first introduced people into the Yakuza franchise and to the fandom as a whole. Most fans either have the most nostalgia of this game because it was their first. They haven't played the old ones. They have the best memories with it, good and bad. But I think if you go mostly on the forums, you'll see people saying that it's mostly good memories with this game in particular than say Yakuza 3 or Yakuza 4. Story wise, Yakuza 4. Combat wise, Yakuza 3. You know, Yakuza 1, especially because it's right after this, Kiwami, I should say. But yeah, so I just want to go ahead and get into it. First, I really want to speak on my experiences I had with the game, and what led me to continue on with the franchise. Now, let me think back. I just want to say, as a fair warning for me, that and for you guys as well, that I'm going into this video really tired right now. At least this first part I'm tired. I'm not going to do this whole video in one day. But the first part I'm recording now, I'm really exhausted. I didn't really get that much sleep last night or today as a whole, you know, because I had an off day today. But so yeah, just letting you know, if I can't really get my thoughts together right off the bat, it's because my brain is literally moving, not even on a percentage. It's just, it might as well just be stagnant. But I'm gonna try my damnedest to be able to formulate my thoughts coherently, without, you know, having too many slip-ups. But let's go ahead and get right into this. Oh yeah, this is being recorded in the early AM as well. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about this right now. How I got into the Yakuza franchise. I think I saw somebody's review. I think it might have been Angry Joe. It was somebody's review, and then I went on ahead and got the game. I got Yakuza 0 first, and then I went on ahead and purchased the game on my PlayStation 4. I got Yakuza 0, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2. It was the first 3 games I got, and I played Yakuza 0, and when the game, it started out slow. I thought it was going to just be one of those cutscene games, which I guess in my defense, Yakuza 0 really kind of starts like that. It kind of sets that tone that it's going to be heavily story based, and of course it is. You know, there's a lot of fun in this game as well, but you know, side activities and things to do. But once you cut on the game and once it starts, it very clearly lets you know that the story is going to be heavy. Lets you know this, but so I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm really going to enjoy this much. And then, if anyone's ever played this game and watched it, at the ending of chapter 1, it won me over. It won me over. But to be fair, I actually say after chapter 1, and then when I got into chapter 2, I had took a long break because the game just kind of got, you know, like one of those you don't know where to go unless you're looking at a guide games, and then, but it was just really that chapter, but you don't know where to go unless you're looking for a guide, use clues. It just wasn't my cup of tea, really. I didn't really know what I was doing, where I was going, so I kind of just left it alone. But yeah, chapter one really won me over as far as, especially in the combat department. Like, I just fell in love with the combat from chapter 1, and you know, that whole fighting the Dojima family at one scene, and then going into fighting the final boss of that chapter. Not only was it like, I'm pretty sure, because that formula has always been used right in other games before, so it wasn't like it was something like game breaking or something I've never seen before. I think it was just the fact that the rush, the adrenaline rush, which is something I'm really big on all these games, is the adrenaline rush I get on from the lone battles leading up to like the climax or whatever you call it, the final boss or whatever it is. It's lovely. I don't even know how to explain it. It just feels so satisfying, and it's present in really all of the games. When I carried on to Yakuza Kiwami, I got that same feeling, and then it just, from then on, it never left. It never left. I'd say just that feeling alone was worth slogging through the story, however frustratingly slow the story may be in any given time. I say it's worth it. I honestly do. But yeah, so I had took a long break from chapter 2 of this game, leading into chapter 3, and then when I got back to chapter 3, and when I first started playing with Majima, I pretty much continued on from there. There was no stops at that point. I went on ahead and played the whole game through, minus the side missions. I didn't actually get into the side missions until after I finished the story of this game. And when I got into the side missions, because I knew there was more things to be unlocked that I didn't unlock from the side missions, like I didn't unlock all the abilities for my fighting styles. I was wondering how you got those. You know, I didn't unlock the fourth fighting style for the 2 characters, so I was confused. I was like, man, how do you get those fighting styles? Until I did those side missions, and it enhanced my love for the game more, honestly. Yakuza 0 is, I will say, as of right now, in terms of my ranking of all the games, I'd say it's probably, in terms of favoritism, I say it's second overall after 5. And then you have like little aspects like music. I'll probably rank it like maybe number 4 or 5. In terms of, if we had like a top, rate your favorite Yakuza music from each games, it'll probably be like 5, 3. I mean, it'll probably be like 5, 4, 3, and then like Yakuza 1, the original, and then like 0. And then as far as like, you know, different things like story and yada yada yada, characters, fights, then you can make a whole bunch of tiers for that. And that's a good thing about series like these in general, like long running series. When the story is not all linear throughout the same game, you can always pick your favorite. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got into like the Yakuza series. Still going strong. I have not played Yakuza Like a Dragon yet because I do not really care for turn-based. That's just my opinion. I don't really care for the turn-based gameplay of that game, or the main character But if you enjoy Yakuza Like a Dragon, by all means, I'm happy for you. It's good to see that this franchise is finally thriving in the West like it was always meant to. So I'm not going to go ahead and down your opinion just because you enjoy something that I just couldn't find interesting. Different things are for different people. But so I'll just go ahead and say, well, let's just go ahead into different aspects of this game. Our first thing I want to talk about is mainly the story. The story of this game, and then we get into different things like character and well, no. I'll first talk about the main two characters of this game, Kiryu and Majima, and then we'll talk about different things, music, fight, gameplay mechanics, fight mechanics, all that. So let's talk about Kiryu and Majima. This is probably a controversial opinion, but I do not think this game as a prequel set up Kiryu and Majima's characterization correctly for the future installments of the series. Now let me explain before you get all uppity in the comments and tell me how I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about, and don't get too hasty now. Now allow me to explain. I'll start with Kiryu first, since I feel like he's the one that probably needs the more explaining. So Kiryu, in the beginning of this game, the first thing we see of Kiryu is he's beating on this helpless guy, this helpless guy, because he can't fight Kiryu back. Obviously, he's begging for mercy. And Kiryu's whooping on this guy for a collection payment. I don't know, maybe he didn't pay up, maybe he had debts. Kiryu says something like you should pick your fights better, so maybe that guy picked a fight with Kiryu in the beginning before he ended up getting messed up in the back of the empty lot. Oh, and yeah, by the way, spoiler warning, I'm gonna have that in the titles. But yeah, so he thrashes this dude like with seemingly no remorse at all. He kicks his leg out the way, he just doesn't care. And this doesn't really accurately portray Kiryu's portrayal in the rest of the series. The only time I could think he would go this far to prove a point is Yakuza 5 Kiryu, and that it was specifically done because that game was supposed to be the game where Kiryu is depressed, and life has beaten him down. He's lost he can't see his kids at the orphanage anymore. He's split up from Haruka, which was pretty much the only, he's not with Haruka anymore, which was pretty much the only person who was keeping him sane since Yakuza 1 all the way up to that point, and he just loses everything that's really ever mattered. Like after Yakuza 1, dude was about to go crazy, except for if it wasn't for Haruka, and that's pretty much the only reason he's able to maintain some type of like composure in his character from that series on. So when he loses that, of course he's going to be extra violent, extra depressed, just not care about anything. He doesn't even like care about fights anymore either. Like he just like, he knows most of the time he's just going to win anyway, so he just gets it over with quickly. And the scenes where he does get violent, like when he messed up who was that guy's name, Ayama or whatever, like in the very beginning of Yakuza 5, part 1 or whatever it was, when he beat up that guy after beating the Tojo clan. The reason he did him like that so brutally was because not only was we shown the audience or the players were shown what Ayama was doing, pretty much kicking like a dog in the cage, like he won't come and snap at you. It's pretty much what he was doing. And Kiryu, because Kiryu at that point was just so through shit. He was just so through all the nonsense. And well, lo and behold, he snapped, and that was really the first time. And like, if we go on by release order, where we saw Kiryu really it was like, wow, Kiryu was so. It's like he's so like violent and ruthless in this game. It's nothing like his character at all. That was the whole point of it. Now in Yakuza 0, it's sort of kind of justified. They tried to justify it by having it be like, well, the reason he was violent in the beginning is because he's younger, so he's more like brash in nature, and quick tempered, and willing to just put hands on somebody and start fights. But I mean, this doesn't really match with his character, like in sub stories and for the rest of the game. You know, he's the honored guy. He's been in like the rest of the game. So we have one scene of him being edgy or whatever, and then the rest of the game he's modest Kiryu. You know, always helping the elderly. You know, knows when to take it, knows when to not take it too far, and when to hold off, and just, you know, does the bare minimum to get his point across. So it doesn't really come off as, you know, he's too quick tempered here, because he still knows when to draw a line, and most of the story is him drawing a line. You know, he's his youngest he's ever been in this game, and he has more wisdom than, you know what I'm saying, the 50-plus-year-old Yakuza lieutenants, and you know, he's telling them off. So even here, he's still morally in the right. You know, like even though the beginning of the game tried to portray differently. So it's like, I can't really take it serious when it comes to furthering his characterization in the first game. Hell, if you want to be honest, since the prequel is like, you know, writers always have the misfortune of writing prequels because they have to lead into the main story, so there's only so much you can do with a prequel, and this comes at a cost for mostly Kiryu himself, because it's like he gets into this whole conflict with the Dojima family, and by the end of the game he's just back in the Dojima family, like, oh yeah, you know, this was the right thing to do. Like he tries to, the writers try to justify it all by giving Kiryu some speech or whatever to Nishiki, some lame speech, but we really not buying for it. There's just no way it makes any sense, and it's just played off or whatever, because you have to lead into Yakuza 1, and that's one of the downfalls of this prequel. It's like, you can't fault Yakuza 1 for that, because that is Zero for the most part, except unless you're counting Kiwami, has nothing to do with Yakuza 1's story at all. So this is mainly Yakuza 0's doing, you know, instead of them being honest with themselves. Like if you knew you was going to have in the lead into Kiryu into joining the Dojima family again, you was going to have to do that. You might as well had just not had a plot where Kiryu fights or gets into conflict with the Dojima family. It would just been easier, right? But as far as comparing Kiryu's character to Majima's character in this game, I see a lot of people tend to prefer Majima's character, and I mean, it's obvious why they do. I mean, it's you taking two characters, one of them who has gone through 5 games already with characterization and what he is and what he is not allowed to participate in, and then you have a character who, for the most part in them 5 games, has been a background character and not have been seen for the majority of the time. He just started getting development in, not safe, the 4th game. So there's way more you can do with the secondary character than you can do with the first one. You know, for instance, you can't have Kiryu interact with what's her name, Makoto, that much, because Makoto is, you would just then ask the question, okay, why doesn't she appear in Kiryu's life all these other times? Where is she when Kiryu's in what is the place called, Okiwana? I don't even know the island, wherever he is with Haruka. Where is this lady when Kiryu's with Haruka and all the orphanage kids? You know, things like that. But you can do all that with Majima, because he just didn't have that much characterization. So it's much more of a blank slate to be able to fill. You know, it's like you could paint it. You could paint a canvas for Majima, but Kiryu, he's too. It's already paint there. There's not much you can do. You can see, like I said, they was really drawing the line in terms of having him go into the Dojima family. That was really a stretch, and that's just what from this game. Like that, it was barely that much of him in this game. I say that this game, as far as the Kiryu side, there was more of seeing his interactions with Nishiki and all that, that was more of a focus than just him himself. But even then, like, there was way more they could have done as far for Kiryu to lead into Yakuza 1 that they didn't do, like showing Yumi, for an instance, giving Kiryu and Nishiki more like relationship other than being karaoke buddies, and then having them come into conflict for like half of Yakuza 0 and not even appearing together in most of the game until like the ending point. And then people have the nerve to say that these two have just, if you didn't play Yakuza 0 before Kiwami, like, you don't get their best bud friendship. No, actually, I disagree. Because if you actually have played this game, the story, all throughout the story, the scenes where Kiryu and Nishiki appear, it's the beginning prologue, chapter 2, chapter 5, and then like they don't really appear together until what, like chapter 14, 15? I think it's 14. So all those chapters later. And even when they do appear, together, it's really, they have like one emotional impactful moment. It's like it's not really, they try to like over exaggerate it and make it seem like it's just something massive, like you have to play this game in order to understand that their brotherly dynamic or whatever it is they had, but it is really not necessary at all. Hell, this game isn't even really about them, or they're not even really the focus point. I'll say this game is mostly about Majima and Makoto in the empty lot. Kiryu and Nishiki serve their purpose well enough, but it isn't really until the end of the story. So the whole, you can really miss me with the whole this game is needed to understand Nishiki as a character. It really isn't. And I'll get into this point right now. I really don't think that adding backstory to a character necessarily makes the character good. There's sometimes where you can add a backstory to an already well received character and it actually damages his character. Like what can I think of it, like Darth Vader. Where, like, as far as the movies go anyways, like that, like the prequels ruined Darth Vader. Let's be honest. Who wants to see Darth Vader as a little kid and doing power races? I don't think anybody in 1977 cared about that or wanted to see anything like that. It's the same with Nishiki. Nishiki was already a pretty interesting villain, at least in terms of, like, for me anyways. The problem is people are looking at it from such an anime view, like, oh man, they gotta have a tragic backstory for the audience to be able to feel for him. It's just really not the case. You can just tell. You don't need like a billion context clues. You can tell from Yakuza 1's storytelling alone that their friendship, Kiryu and Nishiki, already had a bond through the story. Like, just the fact that he was willing to go to prison for this guy 10 years, do 10 years for him for something that Kiryu himself didn't do. You can obviously tell that they had a strong relationship, especially because, like, that was before that Kiryu really had like the noble characterization type caricature. Like, he wasn't really like a noble guy yet. He was kind of edgy in the PS2 version, so you could tell just him doing something like that for Nishiki was a really big deal. Then they tried to retcon it by saying, oh well, Kiryu would do this for anybody, and he would especially do this for Nishiki. Well, I don't know if he do it for anybody still now in Kiwami, but he just get the feeling that this is such a Kiryu thing to do. Like, okay, I can imagine Kiryu doing something like that. It's Kiryu. But in the PS2 version, I don't know, man. Kiryu was off the he was doing some wild shit. I don't know if he do something like that for just anybody. So you already got the feeling that his bond and Nishiki's bond, his bond with Nishiki was important. Yeah. So backstory, sometimes it just really hurts the character. Like, now we have a Nishiki that whines, complains, moans, was about to off was about to mercy kill his brother, his sworn brother, and then it was about to slap the girl that, or the woman that only ever loved him, that only truly loved him, and he obviously wasn't able to see it because he was so pressed over Yumi. And I know who you can't help who you love, but it's like the dude doesn't even like, for him to be like this just suave guy, like they tried to present him in Yakuza 0, who could just see everything. They didn't like, obviously. And I know this is mainly because Yakuza 1, but still, like, you can't portray to me that this black guy was just so, like, just this guy with the ladies, and he was putting Kiryu up on game like how he was doing in chapter 1, and he can't even like tell that Reina likes the guy, and he goes to her bar all the time. Like, is he just this blind? No, I'm not falling for it. But yeah, man, there's probably more I have to talk about with Kiryu's character, but for now I'm going to get into Majima. Now, Majima is a problem in the fact that his character wasn't given enough time for himself to develop into what he becomes in the further games. Like, they try to tell us that the events of this game made him so crazy or whatever, that he, not even crazy, it just made him want to live free and live his life how he wanted to live it. I guess that's what the theme was. The theme wasn't that he went crazy, because he obviously didn't go crazy because he just put in on a persona. The theme was that he wants to live free, because this whole game was basically just him, being tied down by, a whole bunch of people, by Sagawa, by Shimano, pretty much not, he was trapped in Sodenbori, and he really couldn't do, what he wanted to do. He wasn't free, basically. He was on a leash. And so by the end point, his whole persona is the fact that, oh, well, I'm not on the leash anymore because I adopted, like, these other characters' crazy personas, and I'ma live life how they wanted to live life through them vicariously. It's a pretty interesting concept, but it feels way. It didn't feel like he didn't come to this conclusion until the absolute end. Like, it didn't feel like he came to this until the absolute end. So it really just, for most people, it just feels like rushed. But this whole thing of them saying, well, he just went crazy out of nowhere, that's actually not true. He didn't even go crazy at all. He just put on a mask, which is strange. But yeah. So it's really strange. Like, I'll give it this. As far as his side of the story goes, is excellent. Everything was excellent, with it was emotional, him and Makoto, and the payoff, whatever. It was sort of a teaser, but it was good, because you would, like, if you played the series before, like, if you were a long time player, you knew it was coming. But as someone who came into Yakuza 0, you didn't know that he was going to leave Makoto hanging, because you don't know what to expect. I mean, if you played all these games before, he obviously is, because Makoto isn't a character outside of this game. I mean, unless you count Kiwami too, but that's, but outside of this game, she isn't brought up, so you just know. But besides that, like just his character alone, if we just talking about his characterization in this game, it's really just guy goes through all these places to make sure Goro is safe. He's a real humble and swell guy, and the one thing I don't really like about Yakuza 0 that I've noticed as I've looked at this game more in detail is it's basically just a better revised and improved written archetype of the first game. You don't know what I mean? Allow me to explain. So Makoto is Haruka, the person or the girl the girl lead who has a disability. Well, she's blind in the way that Haruka is a child, so they both need protection, and they both are after Yakuza. I mean, they both have Yakuza after them constantly, and they need protection from the male leading, or the male in the lead role, Majima, Kiryu, respectively. They both are looking for their long lost family member throughout the game. For Makoto, it was Tachibana. For Haruka, it was her mom, which is Yumi. And then they both even at one point in the story end up leaving their leading male counterparts. I mean, the leading, their protectors, and they take things in their own hands because they think they can do it themselves. They have like their little rebellious phase. They both hold the key to very important things. Haruka had the pendant, and which was, I think was that a key or something? I think it was a key in one. I don't remember. And Makoto was the owner of the land because she had the rights to it. So that's one of the archetypes. Another archetype is that Majima was basically just Kiryu and Yakuza 1, pretty much, except for the fact that Kiryu didn't go crazy in the end. But I mean, not go crazy, but his character didn't really. It kind of. I don't want to say Kiryu's character didn't evolve in Yakuza 1 because he went through things too, but of course Majima's character progression change was more like, because he had to go from 0 Majima to Yakuza 1 Majima, which was really 0 Kiryu. Now let me explain. Or Yakuza 1 Kiryu is basically was basically the archetype of Yakuza 0 Majima, excuse me. So, the straight man who was basically which Majima was. Like Majima, the thing about before you play Yakuza 0, you don't know that Majima is, he has like a different he has like a real personality. He's like a genuine guy behind his persona, but you don't know how his personality is. He could be, more laid back type of crazy. He could be anything. But what Yakuza 0 does is just make him another Kiryu, especially in the story. This is not more prevalent than in the sub stories. If you play the side quests of this game, he acts just like Kiryu. He wisecracks in his mind. Sometimes Kiryu wisecracks more in his mind, but Majima wisecracks more out in the open. But it's the same type of thing. One person is just more vocal. He's fought all the enemies Kiryu has fought just when they were younger, like Nishikiyama, Ryuji, Joamon, which is actually a retcon. All these important figures. It's like the things that they give him in Yakuza 0 don't make sense for his character, like as you progress to the story, because you got Yakuza 0 Majima. I guess you could say Majima Yakuza 0 is more in his prime, but then you got but it doesn't really, that doesn't really make sense, because in Yakuza 1 he's stronger, it's seen, because he hits through like a marble floor or some shit like that, and like he hits Kiryu through like a marble floor and they both go crashing down. So it's presumably that he's stronger in that game. He gets stronger. But then in like at least strength wise, because in Yakuza 0 he was surprised that Owano cracked a stone wall. But then he was able to do that in 1. But then in Yakuza 2, he's over here getting pressed by the Sugoku family or whatever. He's getting pressed by like 20 some guys when he took on like times 5 that in Yakuza 0 with no sweat. Now, okay, maybe the age is finally just now kicking up to him, but this is the same guy who just casually fought Kiryu in the Coliseum in the same game. So I don't know. It's just really not adding up. And then you got things like Yakuza Majima Plus or whatever it's called, like his own storyline in Yakuza Kiwami 2, where he's fighting what's his name, the gun guy, and he's just casually bullet timer and all that, but he's not able to take on 10 plus guys now, or I don't know, he's like just getting beat to a bloody pulp, whatever. I guess I'm being nitpicky at this point, but it's pretty prevalent that when it comes to like at least power scaling Majima, it doesn't add up with him. It's just all over the place. And then you got him doing things later like tying with Saejima when he's like beat up and shit. Like it just doesn't make sense with him. I'm just being real. But that's just as far as like his strength goes. But yeah, that's pretty much like Majima's character. I would say that the main thing that's a problem with his character is that characters who start, and this is really a prequel problem, is that whenever somebody starts with a prequel, or when that's to be the intended source, people whoever started with that media is going to take what they take from the prequel as the canon material, or they're going to like formulate a thing into their head where that's the right thing, even though that doesn't match up with the rest of the continuum. No matter how contradictory or whatever it may be to the rest of the series, they won't like, they can't get it through their mind that it doesn't make sense unless it's just a standalone thing. And that's like with Majima, like that's where it's most prevalent. Like I'm saying, like, I gotta stop it. I'm saying like too much, but that's where it's most prevalent. You know, you have Majima. I'm trying to think. You have Majima, like you'll see people saying, "Oh man, Majima and the Lord of the Night Majima will always be the real Majima that was in Yakuza 0." The Majima in the rest of the series, when he adopts his mad dog nature, he just I don't like him. He's not the real Majima. Yada yada yada. Well, obviously this is the real Majima because they retconned it this way, but that's the whole thing. It's a retcon. It's a new look of the series. Like, obviously the people who started with Yakuza 1 through 5 before there was a 0 would even think of there being a tuxedo wearing a ponytail, you know, champagne serving Majima in the first place, because he didn't exist. It was all up to speculation of what you thought his character was underneath the persona. So and even then, it's specifically stated in the story that Majima he doesn't like his life in Soten Bor. He doesn't like his life in Yakuza 0 because he's on a leash. That's the whole point of this game, is him breaking free from the leash. So this is really not him. Like, yeah, this is him, like, calmer, as you can say, or like, you know, more laid back or whatever, but this isn't really like how he wants to live his life. He's just not, he didn't really find his way. Point is, this is what I'm trying to say, he didn't really find his way into after the events of this game, leading into 1, where you see on how he wants to live his life. So, you know, the whole, like, that's really the whole problem with prequels in general, is that somebody will take something from the source of a prequel and have a problem that same type of characterization or whatever it may be isn't the same in, you know, the rest of the series, where the prequel wasn't even a factor. You know, take what's an example I could use outside of Yakuza? Take Resident Evil 0 for instance. Take Rebecca Chambers. Rebecca Chambers was badass in Resident Evil 0. Because once she was allowed to be, because it was rewritten from her point of view before Resident Evil 1. When Resident Evil 1 was already a thing, so they pretty much reactively rewrit her whole character to have like more of a badass persona, more capable, and not a damsel in distress, you know. So and then people will complain about this. People will complain going into Resident Evil 1 or whatever, because they didn't start with the original, that she's more, you know, what's to say? What's to say? That she's more passive. She's not combat. She's not as combat capable as she was in Zero. She's more laid back or whatever. You know, then you got people making theories. Oh, she's just tired because yada yada yada. Well, in actuality, it just wasn't a thing. Like it's just what, like, you know, you can come up with some type of theory and lore as to why she's not more capable or whatever. But like, if we're getting like a real serious discussion, like, we have to look at it from, we have to get out of gameplay and all that. We have to get out of the story and look at it from meta. We have to. And in meta, you know, this Majima, at least to me, is not the real Majima. A satisfying Majima, a damn the Majima to play with, but he's not the real Majima. Hell, we don't even play with Mad Dog or Shimano Majima. I could see why people would be frustrated, like a returning long time fan that who's played the PS2 games and then the PS3 games and then this game. I can see who would be mad that you don't get to play with Mad Dog Majima any point in the game. I'm not talking about his fighting style. I'm talking about literally him in like a story cutscene or something. I could understand somebody being a little bit mad at that, but and I run into these people all the time on these fandoms of them trying to tell me that, you know, Yakuza 0 had the best characterization in terms of, like, you know, with all that. Like, okay, as far as like other side story characters, fine. I see what I can do about that. I might be willing to let something slide. Kiryu and Majima, hell no. To me, Kiryu gets his best characterization in 5, and Majima gets his best characterization in I say 4. That gives him his best characterization. Other than that, hell no. Hell no. Miss me. It's not even a contest, really. I say as far as like enjoyment of like in head dialogue and all that, yeah, Kiryu, Majima, that's probably more exciting in this game. I can see why somebody would be or would like the characters more, but you're getting that confused with their personality. You're getting that confused, like that has nothing to do with like character progression. That's more to do with like how you like them as a character. That has nothing to do with, you know, them evolving. You know, they don't even evolve into the epilogue in this game. They don't evolve into the epilogue, and Kiryu's Kiryu's evolution in this game is contradictory to the rest of the games in this series, really. You know, one thing about Kiryu, and just to go back to Kiryu for a second, one thing about Kiryu is the reason he joined the Yakuza in the first place is because he wanted to be more like his he wanted to be like Kazuma, which was a father figure or mentor he looked up to, because Ama did not want him to join the Yakuza because he knew he was good natured at heart, and he knew what type of like evilness the Yakuza held. He knew it was a cutthroat business and people turn to the bad side all the time, and they do anything for power. And he also knew what type of potential Kiryu had, and he knew he was going to get strong. So when you have somebody who's good natured that will possibly turn evil with the strength that and potential that Kiryu had, there's no way in hell Kazama wanted him to join the Yakuza. But he eventually relented, and what he didn't know was that Kiryu was never going to go bad, or would never turn bad, or would never do shady business tactics or anything like most of the antagonists in this game, because he's good natured at heart. What he ended up being was a good natured person and a fearsome Yakuza at the same time. I know that's how you really say it. You know, there's probably gonna be some people, oh man, you've been saying it wrong this whole time. But anyway, yeah, that's what he really ended up being. So that's his whole characterization from Jump Street. So when you have him wailing on the guy, you know, in the beginning, and you pretty much set in the precedence of what the story is going to hold for Kiryu's characterization in most people's eyes. As the story continues, it's like, oh man, this is nothing This really, like, if we look at the rest of this game, the rest of the games, this isn't Kiryu, man. Where's my Kiryu, man? This isn't him. But yeah, that's just me. That's just me. I like Kiryu Majima in this game. I just don't think that their characterization really does justice to them. The rest of the games, it kind of like doesn't really look like Kiryu and Majima. I don't know a better way to put that than what I just explained. If you play this game, if you play the rest of your series, you know what I'm talking about. If you bother to go in depth with it, you know, really look at and dive deep into what is being showed. You know that, as far as, you know, like, unless you want to say, you know, Kiryu is a little bit dorky or whatever in this game because he's younger, and Majima's a little bit, I guess, I mean, because we're seeing more of Majima, obviously, because he's a playable character, so we getting more of him than, I mean, obviously. So other than that, there's really the characterization is done better in other games. That's just how I feel. Now, leading on to different aspects, what can I talk about? I'll talk about the encounter rate first. The encounter rate. The encounter. I say this: Yakuza is an RPG. It's not free roam like, you know, you may be thinking this is like a GTA game. No, it's a brawler slash RPG, and the RPG mechanics work in really like two ways I can think of. Items to heal yourself. It's not well categorized in two ways, but either way, items to heal yourself. Perks to use, like items like you see here. I got different items. I have accessories, and then you have your gear. Now, some items work like, you see I have the you see the little glove is like the heat glove right now. So some items work like perks for your abilities when fighting. So I have as you can see, like the if you look up on the top left side of the screen, you see like it's got like the gears, second gear, third gear, and it's got like the lines where the colors are. It just switched to blue. That actually is supposed to help you refill your the little meter that is supposed to like let it get up to the third gear, which is at where it's right now, faster by getting more hits on your opponent. And little items like that work in this game, no matter what mode you might be playing, what matter what you be doing. It could be fighting, it could be gambling, it could be what else? It could be encounter finder, like if you want to just get into encounters quickly, or if you want to avoid them outright. There's an encounter finder for that that shows up on the map once you equipped it. Then there's the what is it? There's a beads of good fortune, which is like if you just want to get rid of encounters altogether. Then there's items that, like if you're using weapons, there's items that improve weapon damage. There's items that, since the weapons in this game like destroy, unless you're using like weapons like this. You see it says 22, then it went down to 21. The more times you hit and it's like not in heat action, your weapon durability will go down by number. And I think the only way to get rid of this is like if you're playing with Majima, like if to get infinite weapon durability. If you're playing with Majima, I'm getting my ass handed to me. If you're playing with Majima and you if you stay at like the first gear, which is really hard to do, because like if you're gonna get your gear is gonna go up regardless the more hits you get in. So like if you stay at the first gear and then it goes up to the second gear and you keep hitting with weapons, then your weapon durability will start to go down. So what you have to do is there's an item for that. You know, there's an item to make it. It's called I think it's called calming towel or something, and it makes it so your heat never goes up. And you can use it while you use weapons. so you can just infinitely weapon use. There's a item that make sure your heat, like the War God Talisman, I just took it off. There's items that make sure your heat never goes down, period, but that's just for Majima. Then you got like military jackets that help with bullet damage. You got items that improve strength on like a certain style. So it's like I have like a slugger necklace, which improves my slugger stance strength. Just little items like that. You got items that, like, hell, you even have items that make the enemies more aggressive in this game. Which was something I even didn't know about. You have an accessory called quick change clothes, which you can only use with Kiryu, which pretty much allows you to cancel out of any style into the next. You can even build up infinites by doing this. There's a lot of things you can do with the weapons and the items and the accessories in this game. And when it comes to getting them, however, it can be really BS. You know, basically the system work like you put money, or you give money, a set amount of money to like researchers, where they go into different parts of the geographic location to find these items that you requested, and it's all luck based whether you get them or not. So you pretty much just have to just keep inserting money until you get the item you want. And it's gonna drain your pockets, but you know, by the time you reach the ending of this game, and you found out the exploit of this game, you pretty much you're gonna have limitless pockets anyway. You can get up to 9 trillion with Kiryu, and then just transfer the money to Majima. And that's good that they did that, because I'll tell you right now that this is, I say it's between this game and Yakuza 5. Really, when it comes to the grindiest games of them all, is this game in Yakuza 5. No. And 3 is 3 can kind of go in there when it comes to leveling up your getting new moves and things like that. But I'm just talking as far as like, hell, just even getting things to get the items that you like, getting things to get like leveling things, like, because this game, it takes out XP, like the way to level up your character and get new moves is and get stronger and health and all that. They branch all that into one wheel, and you get all that by getting money. You buy it all with money, and until you can really do the exploit, you assed out because you don't have enough money to get all the upgrades. This game has the outside of the weapon wheel locked, and you can't buy, or you can't get the rest of the upgrades until you do the side missions. I hate this. I fucking hate this. This pretty much means, like, unless you play the side missions, you can't get all of the upgrades to upgrade your character. And that pretty much like just like it stops the progress and pacing of the main story. It's like you got to do this whole thing until you get what you want to get, and then you can continue on with the story. Like, if you look at my main playlist, my main playthrough now I'm doing on my channel, I have not done the side stories yet, and I am massively underpowered. I've only gotten the upgrades that I can get without doing the side missions yet. So my health bar is mad low, my power is mad low. That's pretty much why I had to get off of hard difficulties, because I'm severely underpowered. I'm heavily underutilized, and the fact that they locked this shit underneath side mission mechanics, like side mission activity, like the point where I gotta completely, it ruins the whole pacing. I'm forced to fucking, and I don't mean to get all rowdy right now, but I'm forced to, play the cabaret club just to get, I'm saying, these upgrades that should already be available to me is nonsensical. It's just really, it's stupid. It's the simplest terms to put it. It's really, this was done in no other game. Okay, but maybe 5 is an exception, because the leveling in 5 is, oh my goodness, I was about to say a word that is not YouTube advised, but but the shit in 5 is, but 0 is like, it's not It's not. It's not good. Like that. I'll just say that it's not good. I don't have the words for it right now. I'm fucking tired. What do you want me to do? Uh. And then the thing with the whole forced fighting styles, secret fighting styles, being locked behind those side activities or side missions. They're really side missions. They're not activities. They're big enough to be side missions or side stories, whatever you want to call them. But being locked behind the side stories themselves, that was whack as well. Mainly because it will make more sense and lore for you to be able to unlock, or for the styles being unlocked in the stories, rather than you unlocking Majima's crazy knife wielding style after Cabaret Club. Like, is that supposed to make sense? Devs at Sega? I don't really think so. And it would make more sense for you to unlock the Dragon of Dojima style than it would after you unlock it while doing finance. But hey, that's just me. What do I know? I'm an asshole, right? That's just me. I'm pretty sure almost everybody agrees with me. The activities are like a fun. Like I didn't have problems doing them. Especially the first time I did them. The more I play them, it's kind of like you know. But like the first time I did them, it was because I had like my first run through of the game. I had just played the story, so I was already underpowered and whatever. I didn't have all the upgrades, so when I went ahead and did the side missions, it was kind of like I was playing it blind anyway. And then when I unlocked the upgrades, it was like, wow, I didn't even know you get upgrades by doing these side. You get the ability wheel unlocked by doing these little side missions. You know, so I was like shocked. I was like, wow, okay, so this is further my interest. I'm actually unlocking something while playing these. It's not just wasting my time. I'll continue this on, and then it got me interested into the story of those side missions as well. And but that's neither here nor there. I just think that like when you're doing like a rerun in this game, like the replay value is seriously skewed. I don't even use these words that these people use. It's seriously messed up and jank, because like I have already played these side missions and all this like multiple times. I have all these things unlocked, unless I'm starting a new game where I don't have all the abilities unlocked and I'm just playing with New Game Plus. If you're playing with New Game Plus, the side missions are pretty much pointless. There's really no point in doing them at all, because you already have everything unlocked anyway in the first place. So it's really no point unless just to play the story over again and some sub stories. But anyways, I want to talk about combat of both characters. Now I'm gonna start with the combat of Majima. As you can see, a lot of people in this fandom, hold on, let me adjust myself. A lot of people in this fandom prefer Majima's fighting styles over Kiryu's fighting styles for simply one thing. These are people who get this game, and the first thing or the first instinct that they have is XXXXXY, XXXXXXY, XXXXY, XXY, XY, XXXXXXY, XXXXXY. XXXXXY, XXXXXXXXXXXY. That's all. Everyone who prefers Majima's style over Kiryu's, I guess it comes to preference, but in terms of utility, it's no comparison. Like Kiryu's, all four of his styles are much better at handling just any type of environment. It doesn't matter if it's one person, if it's a crowd, there's a style for that. If it's one, there's a style for that. With Majima, it's really just trial and error. As you can see, I'm running around with his ultimate legend fighting style, and I can't get a hit in. This guy's blocking everything. Now if I was using Kiryu, there's styles to open up opponent's guard. Hell, there's a heat action to open up an opponent's guard. Now there's probably something I could do, like I could probably say If he's blocking, I could probably go low for his legs, or I could probably wait for him to counter, or I could probably, I mean, wait for him to attack so I could counter, or I could probably, you know, quick step around him and hit him with like a side kick in thug style, or you know, just smash the the baseball, you know, nunchuck attack. You know, maybe there's, you know, maybe, but my point is to say that there's less, you have less options with Majima than you have with Kiryu. Majima's supposed to be the, oh wow, the fun character, until you really dive into the depth of the combat, and really start to get in tune with the upgrades and what you can do with both of them, and you realize Majima is shit when you start to okay, that's too much. I won't say he's shit, but he's not, sometimes he's just not able to utilize as easily the same, and take care of the same easy approaches that Kiryu is. Like, say for instance, the counters, right? Majima has his own set of counters. Kiryu has his own set of counters. I think they have a counter for each of their styles. Now, Kiryu's counters, you are giving way more time to execute the counters. They are almost 99.9% guaranteed successful. They're not awkward. They're cooler looking, in my opinion. And they work. Basically, what I have to say is the time to use them, the time that you have to use the counters, it's like almost guaranteed to work. And if one counter you find is a little bit too hard for you to use, you can always switch to another counter where it's very simpler and easier to use said counter. Majima, on the other hand, he has one counter in Thug. I think it's called like assassination arts or something. I mean, annihilation of arts or something. And that it's like the time to use a counter, you have to be so, it's really, I almost dare say it's luck. You have to be so precise with it. Correct positioning, correct moment of strike. Mind you, every character in this game attacks at different speeds, so you have to adjust your counter timer to the different speeds of the characters. So there might be a character who attacks extremely fast, and you have to make sure you have the correct distance, the correct timing to their speed of attack, and the correct positioning to execute said counter. And then there's a character who will attack extremely slow. Now, while this may give you more time to execute said counter and give you more time to, like, more breathing room, it'll also throw you off if you are used to just fighting guys with fast speed counters. It's like it's really, it varies. I'm gonna try to give you guys different examples as we go through this here. You know, there's not a whole lot of options you have to open up with Majima. But now I'm gonna go ahead and show you Kiryu, what you can do with him. So now this probably wasn't the best place to show you, because I'm first of all, this is hard difficulty, so I'm over here. I should probably change so I can set a better example, but it's just something in me, my pride. I just can't do it. Oh my gosh, this guy's hitting me. So yeah, look, that was a counter I was just able to execute off rip. Oh gosh, he just got one in me, some Wong Fei Hong shit, some Shaw Brothers. I don't know what that was. My favorite counter is probably the block counter and brawler. When you block and then he does that, or the counter drop. And then Kiryu just has styles which, when you can perfectly bleed into the next style without losing your momentum or the pacing. It's like I could do this, do a twist counter, you know, follow the guy doesn't want to connect that effing kick into the power driver, but whatever, I'm just gonna, you know, that was a counter as well. I'll try to get a counter in there. Just way more options. I think he just has more counters and more in one style. Like that was just what, 2-3 counters in one style I just did. Majima has one counter in his ultimate style in this game. I think that's disgraceful. I don't even think they tried. Oh my gosh, this is not a good opponent to test on. But I'm just going ahead and try to get him out the way. Well, I guess I could kind of show it here. So see, Kiryu has this item called Quick Change Clothes, where you can basically just cancel out into any given style that you want, except the legendary style. And then you know you got the automatic health refill that you can do there. You know you can do XY heavy mash, then go into brawler. That's probably my favorite thing to do. I usually open people's guards up, but the freaking bear doesn't have a guard. I can't even show what I want to show right now. Dax, quit moving, you Yogi Bear fuck. I'm sorry. The game isn't giving me good examples right now. It's trying to make me look like an idiot. But yeah, you see how I'm just perfectly blending in? You could not do this with Majima. You're pretty much stuck into one style until you find a clean or a safe spot to switch into another style. It's just, it doesn't, his styles don't bleed into the next style. It's smooth and as suave as Kiryu's do. Which I think makes for more fun combat. That's just me. I mean, I'd say Kiryu probably, the only thing you could argue for Majima in this game is that he has the better, like, more styles for like splash attack and crowd control damage. But even then, Kiryu has beast style, and like when you unlock beast style, it's pretty much no hard. Like, there's no bars. Like, and you unlock it all the way. I mean, you unlock all the upgrades all the way. Oh, f you. This fake ass what was that guy's name in Yakuza 1? The black guy, I don't even remember his fucking name. That's kind of sad, but yeah, like even then Kiryu has beast, so he kind of loses just that one thing that made him special. In that, I like, unless you want to say that like base Kiryu in this game versus base Majima where there's no upgrades, then that's one I can see you giving to Majima. I can see you giving it to Majima when you just want to button mash the entire game. Get him out of, yeah. I like that counter too. It just knocks him flat in the ass. It gives you room to do something. Gives you time to think of your next attack, what you want to do. You're gonna see when I guess I'll do Mr. Shakedown. I'll do something like that. I'll really get into depth of what you can do, how much fun you can have with his combat that you can't really have with Majima in comparison. Just way more things to utilize. I could go from a counter drop, switch to legend style, build my combo up, connect with the finish holder, you know what I'm saying, grapple him, lay him down, pick him up with beast, either do a heat action or slam him down again, wait for him to get up, do a bear hug, you know, and just it's like so many infinites with Kiryu. If you're good enough, you can pull them off. Hell, Kiryu's beast style has infinite in itself. I might be able to show you something like that. There's actually a video on my channel. It's called Beast style is too OP. Please nerf or something like that. And I'm pretty much, I beat the final boss in the game by only doing 2 moves. It's because one of the moves makes it so his health his heat bar always refuels to the third. It stays at the second. It drops down to the second like this. This is the only thing I do. Wait for him to get up, and then do this. And then I basically do this. I keep on doing the same thing. Oh, I didn't do there. It didn't do there. It was supposed to be the bear hug again, and then it will drop back down to the second gear, and then you do you pick them up and throw them again, and you just repeatedly do that. That's an infinite. You know, I can't really think of any infinites for Majima at all. That I have seen. I don't know if anyone's been able to come up with something. That from all the gameplays I've seen, from what I've been able to do, I have not been able to do anything like that for her. I was able to do something sort of like an infinite when I was fighting Joe Amon. You know, like the would wait for him to get up and then do the leg sweep, and then he gets up and then hit him with a couple combos with Doug, back up out the way, do the Annihilation Arts counter in Thug style, where it's like a counter and then you neck chop him, and then that's going to drop it down to the second heat bar where you can do the leg sweep over and over again. But you got to be, it's way harder to pull off than Kiryu's. Way harder to pull off. But no wonder they had Kiryu fight Soamon in this game, and they had Majima fight Joe. if Kiryu fought Joamon in this game, it would not be fair at all. That wouldn't even be a fight. Oh gosh. But yeah, man, the auto health refill. Too many options, way too many options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get into. I'll first talk about the specifics of the fighting stances and how you like for beginners, like how you know how to know what you're doing. All the fighting stances for both of the characters are color coded. So what you have is blue, pink, and yellow or gold. So blue is both of the fighters like basic stances. That's how it's like you're supposed to know which stance you're changing to. It's like the basic stance. It's supposed to have like the most variety of like heat actions and moves. But it's supposed to be the medium. The pink is the fragile speed stance for both of the fighters. So it's rush for Kiryu and breaker for Majima is the pink. They got this mainly speed focused attacks that both light on their feet. They're both easy to knock down. And I think when you're fighting a 101, those styles do less damage than any other styles. Now, the yellow or the gold, however you want to say this right here, is Beast. And it was Beast for Kiryu, and it's Slugger for Majima. And it's the style that focuses on just raw power and strength. And for me personally, once you start getting into the technicals of the yellow style, Majima's is useless. Like, if you're not just fighting fodder, sure, Slugger is good. It's good. It's got good crowd control. It breaks most of the AI, so they don't know how to react. It's straight. But when you fighting like Joe Amon or Mr. Shakedown or something, you can't just go into there spamming. It's not gonna work. It's gonna get your dumb ass whacked. Trust me. I tried. You're gonna have to mix it up. And that's mainly where the combat in this game really starts to like show its fruits. It's like when you start to mix up the styles, which I don't really see a lot of people doing in gameplays. It's actually a shame. So most people just find one style that they find comfortable with them and just stick with it. Which is okay, as far as like finding like a comfortable medium for any player, like a comfortable game style. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I think the style switching in itself is a mechanic that was meant to be utilized, especially because there's a specific item for that for Kiryu, and I don't think it's utilized enough. Especially because I see videos, I see like posts all the time on saying Kiryu's fighting style which is trash, or fighting styles are just garbage compared, to Majima's, when really most of the time people aren't using him right. They're just using one style. Like, no, that's how you get yourself killed, especially on the harder fights. You got to learn to switch it up. This being the first game where it was mainly focused on giving both Majima and Kiryu 3 fighting styles each. Well, really 4, but 3 main fighting styles each. From the previous games, you had like 5 protagonists. 4 of them were fighters, and you had one character that was an all-rounder, one character that was all like brute muscle strength, one character that was a fragile speedster, and the other character that was just a counter. And so what they did was they took 2 characters, Kiryu and Majima, and then they just mashed different elements of that into like certain fighting styles. So you get what you get, and that's what you pretty much have here. And then their ultimate fighting styles are pretty much supposed to be, or their 4 fighting styles are pretty much supposed to be not only the original styles but the all-rounders. So Q's are around as the Dragon of Dojima style. Majima's is supposed to be the Mad Dog, but that it really, to me, in terms of utility, it's his worst style in the game. It's fun to use when when you have a certain item on, where you can really literally just spam the certain attack over and over again. But other than that, it's got like one unique heat action and the same like dry combo over and over and over again. It's like really not that fun to do at all. So yeah, as far as Legend goes anyway, I can't see anyone arguing, to me anyway, that Majima's is better than Kiryu's. Unless they just talking about a fun factor, I guess, but even then not really, because you're going to be getting knocked on your ass a lot if you don't get that certain heat action where you can spam your that mad dash he does. So I can't really see how anyone would prefer that, but to each his own. But yeah, see, look, I'm breaking his guard. I'm switching styles to break his guard. He can't react. I'm just waiting for him to attack. You know, you got a heat actions where you let them attack you, and then you can do something with that. You got styles where it's look at that. I cancel before I hit the ground. I cancel out of that so I can just keep moving. No, you can't do that with Majima. See if I wait. See if I could wait for him to. Damn it! I should have been in rush. Yeah, it's one of a fancy finish, but yeah. So rush. A lot of people rag on rush. I think rush is like in terms of like that counter drop is ruthless. In terms of like getting out the way of like a multitude of enemies and just dancing around opponents. I think I showed it before earlier in this video, but rush is just that it's got a parry, and it's just that like if you use it right, you will never be hit. Especially if you have it fully upgraded, you're literally untouchable. And Kiwami is even more broken, but that's a whole different discussion, because there's no gear system in Kiwami, so you automatically at the third gear, so you automatically at Rush's fastest speed. So there's no building up to Rush. But it's too bad they nerfed Beast. I honestly think it's too bad. I'll show you Rush right now. The capabilities are rushed, and I'm using a brass knuckles, which kind of enhances power. So look at this, just bob and weave, danced around. Look, he literally can't touch me. He literally can't touch me unless I want him to. I want to put on a good looking fight, you know, or I get too crazy with the weaving or the dodging or the invasive maneuvers. That's the only time he'll touch me. But if you constantly have your hand nearing the weave button, you're unstoppable, literally. Yeah, it's like max speeds. You can't be touched. Get up off me. There's a counter for rush too. It's just gotta be. It depends on the opponent. If it's a really fast opponent, the counter's harder to pull off. Oh, that's for most counters in this game. I appreciate the realism in that, but gosh, this guy just, oh my goodness, you styling on me. Yeah, I appreciate the realism on that. That's what you get for doing all that moving. But sometimes it's just frustrating when you really want to show off a counter, or you really want to end a fight like a fancy way, and you end up like doing a regular hit when you meant to do the counter. Some counters require certain bars of heat. Some counters require no bars of heat at all. So like, what's one counter I can think of? The Mad Dog counter that Majima has, where he like guts his opponent with his knife, that requires like full 3 bars of heat. The counter drop in this game that Kiryu has, that requires no bars of heat. Actually, that builds heat. And the more it builds heat, the less powerful the counter is. I appreciate, like the creativity they put in that. And then Majima's, I'm trying to think for Majima's style, like really when you really get into the technical aspects of it, it's just his sticks. It's like like, it looks fun in theory to be able to break dance and to be able to wield a bat and to be able to really, if you ask me, my favorite style of Majima is Thug. Like, I love Thug. Thug is, it has the best heat actions. It has the most fun. It's like playing with a John Wick of Yakuza. It's the only style in this game where I feel like I'm playing with an actual Yakuza character. I will say that. Like, you know, most of Kiryu styles is like too street. It could just be anyone. Like Majima's like Thug style is like the most professional style in this game. It's like you playing with a real Yakuza. The you know, his other styles is too bombastic, too out there, too wild. It's too unrealistic. If you're looking from that standpoint, look at that. And then you could lead that on. You can attack from that. This guy likes to run around a lot. Kiryu actually can't grab and rush. Kiryu can only grab. I think Kiryu can grab in 2 of his styles. Majima can only grab in 1. Yeah. Majima can't pick any opponents up, I don't believe, either. Off the ground, he can't pick any of his opponents up. Kiryu can. So that's another thing I don't prefer on the Majima side of things that Kiryu can do. You know, Kiryu with it, instead of grabbing in the style, he does like a fast kick. It's meant to so what you can do is counter that real quick and then just rush behind him, which I like to do. And what that fast kick is meant to do is break the opponent's guard quickly if they're blocking. And what you can do is you can break the opponent's guard and then switch to, like, damn, he just hit me with that I don't know what type of kick that was. Okay, this guy's pissed me off. You could break his guard with the kick, and then you could switch real quick to either Beast or Brawler to continue with the combo, or you can continue the combo with Rush. You can do whatever. Like, it's so much more options with Kiryu in terms of combat in this game. And I really started to notice that after I upgraded both of the characters, when you max them both out, it really becomes obvious which is more fun to use, which one is more satisfying to use. Now I'll try to go to Tokyo real quick just to show you Mr. Shakedown. I'm just gonna show you all the things you can do, because I really couldn't really put all of it into perspective into that while I was playing that while I was in that tournament. Well, if I could look for some enemies over here real quick. No? Anybody? No? Which is unfortunate. I think I'm thinking about showing the gear as well, and all the cosmetics and all that. Some of the mini games in this game. I haven't really brought up the mini games like that just because I don't really like most of the mini games at all, except for maybe pool, and that's on a rare occasion. I know a lot of people like the mini games in this game, disco, yada yada yada. Karaoke. This point of the video was really supposed to be like a commentary video, and I really couldn't, unless I muted my volume, I really couldn't put karaoke in here. But it's probably also a thing with copyright, and I'm just not ready to get into all that. Look at this. This is just his legend style. Look. See, my heat is down, and I can only do that pick 'em up thing if I get my heat to second gear. Look at that. You got the running with the kick and the land. And then the men in black are tough opponents to fight anyway in the first place. They like to dick around a lot. Yeah, get them out of there. Come on. Another aspect that I kind of find frustrating is the fact that if you whoop an opponent's ass enough, or you just taunt them, or they can't get a hit, or they're having a hard time, they'll enter like this rage mode where they become more aggressive, and it's notable as you stare at your opponent's red aura on their head or whatever it is. Which is, it's just, you know, I haven't really even talked about the aura in this game either. It's the most notable in this game, but I think I like the aura the most, and I'd probably say Yakuza 5, maybe. either Yakuza 5 or like Yakuza 5 or Yakuza like the original. It just looked cool here. It looks cool as well here too, but it's just like no matter how cool you look, if you're taking hits, you just look like a dumbass. You know, like me right now playing on R, fighting all these fuckers in the street. It's just, and that's mostly the problem with the combat in this game. It's like if you're trying to hit somebody into the this game and say, oh, look at all the cool things you can do, and you're taking hits, you just end up looking lame. And that's like that could be a hard thing to promote to somebody who's never played these games before. I know I have a smart aleck companion who, you know, nitpicks on little shit like this, so it's hard to prove my point. Hey, if you're watching, hey, don't get offended. But anyways, yeah, it's just hard to prove your point like this if you're just taking hits. And I guess that's my reasoning for you know, going in on it like that. It's just, you just look kind of lame if you're like, you got this badass aura and you're still getting knocked by mooks on the street. I can understand if you was fighting someone else in like the main story who also has that aura, but you know, for like peanut galleries on the road, there's no excuse. So it kind of lames, it kind of draws the cool factor down, and to me anyway. But everybody go ahead and get into show y'all this Mr. Shakedown. Destroy him pretty much. I do better one-on-one than I do in crowds. I just can't handle crowds, especially on harder difficulties. It just irritates me. But let's go ahead and see if I can try and find him. And this is probably gonna be part 1 of my analysis. I might continue on the analysis later on. But I drop a part 2. I don't know if this is definitely going to be a series. I'm just letting you know right now. But this is part 1 is going to be this. I don't know if I'll jump into. I'm not going to really. I might analyze a story a little bit, but you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see in the future. You know, for Yakuza 0, there's really no telling. But anyways, let's talk about Kiryu's counters now. Like, he has this one counter that you could literally spam on end, which I'm about to show you now, until your opponent's dead. And the time to use this counter, it doesn't matter how close the opponent is. Unless you mess up on your own, you can just keep on doing this. And this is his legend style, by the way. And you do not need heat to activate this. This is this twist counter. This is more, to me, this is more infamous than the Tiger Drop, because, oh, that's my fault. I grabbed by an accident. I didn't mean to. Uh-oh, don't go ape shit, buddy. I grabbed by an accident when I didn't mean to. But yeah, this is more infamous than his Tiger Drop, because you could literally, the time to do this is like infinite, and you could literally like just keep on spamming this with like no regards. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for like any specific thing. You know, I got my health filled. Get away. Go back to legend. Boom. You know, keep on doing the same thing. I could just keep on doing this to his day. It doesn't matter if he's rushing at me. It doesn't matter if he takes a long wind up. It doesn't matter if he goes like that. I had to block because I wasn't ready. My hand was on the button. You know, it's always just gonna, and you know, I could keep on leveling up Kiryu till I max him out with the what's this shit called, the limit break, to where this instant kills, but I just don't feel like it. Oh yeah, and that fourth kick never works on Shakedown, because Kiryu's animation can't like hold him on his shoulder, so it doesn't matter if you do the combo or time it perfectly, it will never work on Mr. Shakedown, which is whack. The farthest you can get is, I think, that. So yeah, go ahead. I could literally just keep doing this. Yep, I'm gonna just speed this up because this is on hard difficulty. So really, the difficulty works in this game is the fact that like the enemies get a little bit more aggressive. They start being a little bit smarter in the moves that they do. They pull off more moves, and they have higher health. Like, it takes longer to kill them. That's really it. So I can appreciate the difficulty in this game. It actually makes sense. And then Legend is just that, with faster QTEs and those like continues for most like, yeah, there's like no continues and all that shit. So So legend is, and no new game plus either. Go ahead and what I gotta do to get makes the shakedown to spawn again is to kill random street mooks. And go ahead and put the brass knuckles on. What you can do is, so your opponent got a sword, you got the special heat action. And some heat action is specifically some heat actions are specifically opponent based. Like you can't pull them off unless you meet a certain requirement. Like your opponent meets a certain requirement. Like I was only able to pull that off because I had the brass knuckles on and my opponent had a sword. And it lets you know these requirements when you upgrade. I mean, when you get the abilities and the ability wheel. So I see how people go the whole game not even knowing what heat actions like were in the game because they just didn't meet the requirements the entire game. They didn't play like that. So that's just how in depth most of the combat is in this game. I think it's probably the most in depth in this game. I see probably here or Kiwami 1, maybe even Yakuza 5. But those games got like the most depth when it comes to Kiwami combat. I mean, when it comes to Yakuza combat, I'll probably add Yakuza 4 to that list just because of the multiple protagonists. But let me see here. Go ahead and try to find shakedown. So yeah, y'all can see I got the he appears pink on the map because I'm using the encounter finder. If you look on the map, you can see the encounters on the map, which is something I'm glad that this RPG added. I know most RPGs don't even let you don't even have maps, so you don't even know that you're coming up on an enemy. Never mind being able to avoid it out all the way, or outright. The way the encounters work in this game is if it's one enemy that you come across, unless you bump him, he won't pick a fight with you. But if they're groups, that you come across, they'll fight you. They'll chase you down until they fight. And then once you start a fight, you can't escape. You can't leave the encounter. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show every counter that Kiryu has. Easy to pull off. The counter drop real quick. Pretty much the early tiger drop archetype in this game that does less damage. Now this is the get behind. I'll show this in the Coliseum. The quick little parry and rush. I didn't have confidence I could pull it off there, so I got up out the way. And then you have this piece as the quick jump. Bam, this is what you need. You need this third gear to do this. As you can see, my heat's in third gear, so I'm getting out of it right now. I'm switching to rush again. Go ahead and do that. I'm saying get that into third. That move right there, you need three bars of health. So look, my heat bar is going up. It's always refilling to the third gear every time I do it. You see that? You see that? And then wait for him to get up. Come on. Oh, I missed it. I was trying to pick him up. Alright, it's all good. Get him out the way. Oh shit. See, the move I was trying to do it, I need 2 gears to be able to do it. My heat need to be in 2 gears, but I couldn't get it in time. It's all good. See if I can get it right here. You see what I'm saying? It's just that easy with Kiryu, bruh. It's just that easy. Can't sweat the technique. You know what I'm saying? Majima, you can't. It's not that fluid with Majima. Not one-on-one. It's just not that fluid with him. I'm sorry. He's my man. But as far as combat goes, it's a non-factor. But I pretty much proved my point on that. Kiryu's got the combat in this game. It's no contest. No contest at all. And I'm gonna finish this video off with probably another fight. It's just the style switching is smoother. The limit of what you can do is more fun to use. Even if you just like using like the slugger style to the breaker style, it just looks wonky. It just looks like weird to me. It just looks like this is only like it just doesn't make sense for you to like go from the baseball thing to the breaker to the I don't know, man. The only thing I go is like breaker and then thug and then breaker and then thug. That's like the only styles I really switch to. You know, Slugger to flex. Uh, and then I guess Mad Dog when I get bored, but there's really no point in using those two. But anyways, but if they got quick change, if they gave quick change clothes to Majima, oh my gosh, he probably would be pretty scary, like non-upgraded. Like if it was just base, it would probably be more to talk about. Now, oh my gosh, I hate fighting Men in Black. Look at this wonky shit. Now you see how the counters is harder to pull off when your opponent is attacking faster and in groups. You see how? And the fact that the camera is like you can't, unless you're looking at the map and at the screen, you don't even know who's behind you. You don't know the arrows. So that guy who just came up behind me with the sword, I didn't even know he was there because I'm too busy looking at what's in front of me to try to pull off this counter, wondering when he's going to attack. And I should not have missed that last swipe, but okay. But I kind of just want to whack all these guys out the way, but I'll have some fun. Quickest way to do that would be beast, but I don't see that many objects around but cones. Damn it, man. Guess I could just pull my gun out, but that's no fun. Yeah, the weapons in this game are really overpowered if you get the right ones. Shit. Talk about getting jumped. I mean, it's hard for a reason. But watch it while like in my next analysis video, I might go more in depth into the weapons and shit like that. How to get them, which one's the best, the rare ones, which ones to use to exploit, because there are exploitable weapons in this game to get you fast money, all that. And yeah, the weapons is you pretty much get most of them with Majima, and then what you do is the same shops you go to is pretty much like another shop in the same line in Kiryu City, and then he pretty much gets shipped the same stuff that Majima gets. And then even though he can't use, like, the only way I see you preferring Majima over Kiryu is like if you're a weapon user, like if you want to use like a more variety of weapons like nunchucks and things like that, then you use Majima, because Kiryu can't use nunchucks in this game. Or I think the only weapons he could use is like long staffs, hammers, and brass knuckles, and maybe like short swords and swords, but even like that, his sword fighting stances is pretty whack, and most like his stances for the weapons is pretty whack unless they like brass knuckles. So yeah, he doesn't really do weapons. But that's it. That's all I could see anyone preferring Majima over Kiryu is like if they wanted like a use weapons. But even then, like if we being objective, like as far as like the abilities go, it's no contest. It's so much more easier to use. It's funner, I guess you could say, but it's so much more easier to use Kiryu. Now I'm gonna try to see if I could beat Mr. Shakedown. This is just like a flex. I don't know if I could really do this, but I'm just trying to see if I could just beat Mr. Shakedown with using beast style only, beast style counter, beast style infinite. So let me see if I could do it. Let me see. Back up a little bit and get my heat up a little bit. Okay. Okay, let me do it now. Come on. If I get killed, it is what it is. And that's how I'm gonna end this video, man. So just let y'all know now. Go hard, go home. This is my first in-depth review analysis. You know what I'm saying? More on the way. Expect a part 2 of this video. But man, like dirty reviews, expect those as well. I got those coming, so you know, hopefully y'all look into those. Hopefully my channel could appreciate these long videos, because I know that they're becoming more of a rarity. But you know, hopefully they become a thing. Oh yeah, gotta get Rush to refill the heat. What the fuck? That was my fault. Oh, move. Now if I was a smart man, I'd heal right now. But I'm not going to heal. Alright, can I do it? Can I do it? Get up. God, she has nothing of health left. Oh my gosh, that wingspan! I'm done.